Are you awake? Thank you for that very spirited, I don't know, it's more of a, I don't know what to call that besides a waltz, but I like it. Thank you. This morning, our words for opening are from Emily Dickinson. It's brief and to the point. Love is anterior to life, posterior to death, initial of creation, and the exponent of breath. Let us worship together.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the entire congregation, I welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Shenandoah Valley. I'm Sandra Henry Stocker, your worship associate for today's service. We wish to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Shawnee and Manahoic tribes who lived in this area prior to the arrival of European settlers who then took the land for their own. We come together each Sunday morning as a community of seekers, seekers of what is important in our lives, seekers of understanding in the face of uncertainty and loss, seekers of forgiveness for our shortcomings, seekers of gratitude for the unexpected gifts we receive from all around us. We gather in awe of the beauty of nature and the mysteries of the universe. But most importantly, we come together as seekers of a community of love and empowerment, celebrating our search for truth and meaning in our daily lives. Now, as Reverend Dyer comes forward to light the chalice, we all will say together here and online the words for lighting the chalice. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, to share. And now I invite you to join with us as we say our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help our neighbor. To these ends, we covenant one with another. Now please stand in body or spirit as we sing hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Since we're talking about love, we have a book about love. How do I love you? Let me think of all those ways. I love you best on your good days. I even love you on the worst of days. I love you when you're singing. I love you when you smile. I love the way you take each day in your own unhurried way. I'm happy when you're happy. I'm sorry when you're sad. Even though it may not show, I love you when you're mad. Let me think of all the things that I can say. I even love you when you're sleeping, tucked away in pleasant dreams. I love to hear you whisper your giant plans and schemes. I love you when you're deep in thought. I love to watch you when you play. And though I'm not sure you'll ever know, I love you more each day. How do I love you? It's impossible to say. For if I had 1,000,000 days and time enough for all the praise, I couldn't tell you all the ways that I love you. And on a personal note, Sister Sandy, Norma too, Blessed Ethel, I love all you.
Okay, now it's time to sing the children out with our Go Now in Peace song. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Nothing against any other worship associate, but it's lovely having a member of the choir up here as well, singing along, doing harmony and all, well done. Thank you. So I want to offer a reading and words for some meditation. And also, I want to start with a little bit of gratitude to Liz England. Where are you, Liz? Oh, there you are. This gorgeous, big new bowl is courtesy of Liz England. Right? I said, yes. That is some resonance. Just listen to that. It's worth listening to things that resonate for you. And I hope my message this morning will resonate with you as well. Hope I can see it. And to get us started with all this, words by H. Richard Niebuhr. Love is rejoicing over the existence of the beloved one. It is the desire that he be rather than not be. It is longing for his presence when he is absent. It is happiness in the thought of him. It is profound satisfaction over everything that makes him great and glorious. Love is gratitude. It is thankfulness for the existence of the beloved. It is the happy acceptance of everything that he gives without the jealous feeling that the self ought to be able to do as much. It is a gratitude that does not seek equality. It is wonder over the other's gift of himself in companionship. Love is reverence. It keeps its distance even as it draws near. It does not seek to absorb the other in the self or want to be absorbed by it. It rejoices in the otherness of the other. It desires the beloved to be what he is and does not seek to refashion him into a replica of the self or to make him a means of the self's advancement. As reverence, love is and seeks knowledge of the other, not by way of curiosity, nor for the sake of gaining power, but in rejoicing and in wonder. In all such love, there is an element of that holy fear, which is not a form of flight, but rather deep respect for the otherness of the beloved and the profound unwillingness to violate his integrity. Love is loyalty. It is the willingness to let the self be destroyed rather than that the other cease to be. It is the commitment of the self by self-binding will to make the other great. Again, these are the words of H. Richard Niebuhr. And I'm going to ring this one more time and let you think about that for a moment. Those words I read cover a lot of ground. I wanted to share them because it's one of the most complete ways I've read where someone talks about love. I wanted to start here because the new Unitarian Universalist values, equity, generosity, interdependence, justice, pluralism, and transformation, are presented graphically to us as petals of a flower whose center is the word love. Thanks to the awesome creativity of Rebecca Allen, we will soon have our own representation of the values flower for our sanctuary. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Rebecca, in advance for your hard work. Equity, generosity, interdependence, justice, pluralism, and transformation, centered around love. So, what does this mean? What does it mean in real time to center love? Do we have a common understanding of love? Do we need one? Maybe. But I think first, we need to think about the values themselves and ask ourselves, how do they relate to love? Let's start by considering equity. Now, today, we mostly hear the word equity sandwiched between diversity and inclusion, and frequently on the lips of people who are trying to eliminate this as a way of working in the world. Equity can be complex on a certain level, and it can be deliciously simple. Equity, in terms of our human relations, has a lot to do with empathy. Rather than expecting someone to feel or experience the world as we do, equity asks, equity asks us to allow someone else to experience and thrive in the world as they most see fit to do. Quoting Niebuhr might help. Love is gratitude. It is thankfulness for the existence of the beloved. It is the happy acceptance of everything that they give without the jealous feeling that the self ought to be able to do as much. Okay? Let's consider generosity. We all want to give of ourselves, but one of the more challenging aspects of what it means to give is to consider if someone wants or needs what we are offering. I've seen this a lot in circles supporting people experiencing homelessness. I will never forget the first time someone made it clear while I might have seen them as homeless, they didn't at all see themselves that way. Generosity cannot be focused solely on our desires. We have to consider the object of that generosity as well. Again, pointing back to Niebuhr, love is reverence. It keeps its distance even as it draws near. It does not seek to absorb the other in the self or want to be absorbed by it. It rejoices in the otherness of the other. It desires the beloved to be what they are and does not seek to refashion them into a replica of the self or to make them a means to the self's advancement. Interdependence. What then of interdependence? Now, we've wrestled with this word for decades as Unitarian Universalists. We are pulled between rabid independence and wanting to recognize connection to one another. This might be the most difficult of all the new values for us. And again, Niebuhr helps us out. Love is rejoicing over the existence of the beloved one. It is the desire that they be rather than not be. It is longing for their presence when they are absent. It is happiness in the thought of them. Unitarian Universalists talk a lot about justice. We think we've got justice down pat. And there is more. We have to remember that justice cannot exist in isolation. Justice only exists in relationship. Justice without relationship is patronizing and becomes the first step to dictatorship. Niebuhr reminds us that love desires the beloved to be what they are and does not seek to refashion them into a replica of the self or to make them a means of the self's advancement. As reverence, love is and seeks knowledge of the other, not by way of curiosity, nor for the sake of gaining power, but in rejoicing and in wonder. So our next word in the values flower is pluralism. Now, most people scratch their heads when they hear this word. Honestly, it has several different definitions depending on how it is being used. My understanding, however, is that the good Article 2 folks were picking up on our freedom to embrace different religious and non-religious frameworks of truth. Okay, well, maybe a little bit more language from Niebuhr can help. Love is a gratitude that does not seek equality. It is wonder over the other's gift of themselves in companionship. The final word of the values flower is transformation. The concept of transformation is more complex than most people are willing to recognize. Transformation is not just about change. It's also about the willingness to let go and to witness the loss of one thing for the gain of something new. Yep, here we go. Niebuhr gives us this. In all such love, there is an element of that holy fear, which is not a form of flight, but rather deep respect for the otherness of the beloved and the profound unwillingness to violate their integrity. Love is loyalty. It is the willingness to let the self be destroyed rather than that the other cease to be. It is the commitment of the self by self-binding will to make the other great. I wanted to use the work of a well-known and arguably super traditional theologian like H. Richard Niebuhr to help us today because I think it's important for us to recognize that the new values are new to us, but we're not inventing the wheel. Philosophers, theologians, mystics, and everyday people have been invested in wondering about how our world is connected by love as long as there have been humans on this planet. In yesterday's beautiful celebration of life for Sandy Lohr, I quoted from her book, Oreos to Oleos, where she says, "Human beings are the only species who love and know at the same time that there will be an end." This human condition makes our search for meaning and our desire to connect the dots of life and living and loving an urgent and pressing matter. The text from Article 2, however, can be pretty dry. After all, it is a governance document. It is not a spiritual text or scripture. In it, we get statements like, "Direct experiences of transcending mystery and wonder are primary sources of Unitarian Universalist inspiration. These experiences open our hearts, renew our spirits, and transform our lives. We draw upon and are inspired by sacred, secular, and scientific understandings that help us make meaning and live into our values." That's nice. And we get more of this language in terms of operationalizing things. "Systems of power, privilege, and oppression have traditionally created barriers for persons and groups with particular identities, ages, abilities, and histories. We pledge to replace such barriers with ever-widening circles of solidarity and mutual respect." So my question is, how does this help in the middle of the night when we're reeling from grief and there is no one there to comfort us? What do these words mean when we get a diagnosis that we weren't expecting? How does all of this help us celebrate when a new life comes into the world or when we arrive in a new home? This is why I turn to good old H. Richard. Love is the commitment of the self by self-binding will to make the other great. Oh. Something you can't see on the written page is that he includes an exclamation point at the end of that sentence. In fact, most of the long paragraph I quoted is strung together by semicolons, and I think if they were standalone sentences, every phrase would end with an exclamation point. For Niebuhr, as with most traditional theologians, this love business is not just important, it's essential. Again, love is urgent. It is immediate. And I think however we understand the new values flower, we need to capture the basic life-saving passion of love as well. It can't just be a generic word in the middle. We you-yous like to be super intellectual and take notes while ministers prattle on and share our political opinions and present ourselves as professional and scholarly, professorial and scholarly. And that is all well and good. Many of us are literally professors and scholars. But my goodness, we're people too. We are human flesh. We are mortal. We are passionate. We are blood and pain and laughter and silliness and failure. We are all of that. You could say, we are exclamation points. If we put love at the center of our values, okay, fine. But we can't be satisfied with a love at the center that is as academic as the word plurality. If we're going to talk about plurality, it can only be activated by a dynamic love that lets us not be bitter about our different faith journeys. Love gives us a way to hold our religious past lightly, no matter how painful or pleasurable. recognizing that it may be different from someone else's truth. If we're going to talk about transformation, it is mobilized by the creative love that allows us to move on with excitement into the unknown. If we're going to talk about equity, it is ignited by the reflective love that gives us perspective to honor the other as we would honor ourselves. Love is not just a word. Love is the exclamation point. We have a long way to go to understand and fully embrace the new UU values. It will be a process and a journey. Some congregations are pretty much dragging their feet, like 5-year-olds throwing a tantrum, basically saying that they'd rather stick with the 7 principles. Congregational polity. That is their choice, and it's not a surprise. The vote for the new principles, for the new values at General Assembly was only just over 80%. While this satisfied the 3/4 requirement to pass a General Assembly resolution, as some of you may not know, a minister who receives only 80% of the vote to serve a congregation will likely not accept that call. My personal feeling is that we need to accept this call. Even with my public criticism of these values, accepting this call, accepting the new values, we can recognize the opportunities that exist to create our truth with them. Let's choose to rise to this challenge. Okay, we've got 6 new values. If we've got love at the center, because love predates and is not limited by bylaws or governance, thank you very much, because love is all of us, because love is, to quote Niebuhr again, rejoicing over the existence of the beloved one, let's not receive this moment as a limited academic exercise. Let us find it as an opening. Let love be our exclamation point. May it be so.
One purpose of the church is to encourage all who gather to grow more generous in spirit and in action. We will now gratefully receive an offering to sustain this self-supporting church and its ministries within and beyond our walls. If you are watching online, we hope you will consider making an offering through our webpage, uushenandoah.org. If you are visiting, feel free to let the basket pass. Your presence is your gift.
before I invite you to rise in body or in spirit, I forgot something in my message. Imagine that, you know. Ministers get confused as well, because it actually connects together, and you'll hear more about this. Lisa Rao had asked me to mention the Let's Talk conversation program that is starting today. And I'm so grateful for this program, this opportunity to talk and engage each other as a community about sometimes tough issues. I am grateful for it. I am aware that it actually does the thing that my sermon in 2 weeks is asking you to do, is put the values into action. I won't steal the thunder from her announcement, but I did want to make sure you knew that there's thought going on in this brain and that brain and a whole bunch of other brains to connect everything we do here together. So yeah, let's talk. You'll be hearing more about that. In the meantime, please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our closing song, number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. Oops. Oh, is it 126? Oh, I'm in the wrong order of worship. See, this is 126. Come thou fount of every blessing. I knew that. I put it in there. 126, everybody. So sorry. Come thou fount of every blessing, tune our hearts to sing thy praise. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call forth songs of loudest praise. While the hope of love's perfection fills our hearts with joy and love, teach us ever to be faithful. May we still thy goodness prove. Come thou fount of every vision, lift our eyes to what may come. See the lion and the young lamb dwell together in thy home. Hear the cries of warful silent, feel our love glow like the sun. When we all serve one another, then our heaven is begun. Come thou fount of inspiration, turn our lives to higher ways. Lift our gloom and desperation, show the promise of this day. Help us find ourselves in union, help our hands tell with thine aid, O fount of justice, earth be fair as heaven above.
Now I'd like to thank you, all you volunteers who help make our service possible. Pianists, audiovisual crew, ushers, providers of flower arrangements, coffee crew, greeters, RE teachers, Zoom volunteers, worship associates, and you for being here.
I'd like to send you off by reiterating words from H. Richard Niebuhr. Love is rejoicing over the existence of the beloved one. May we be beloved to one another, and may we rejoice in each other always and in every way. Go in peace.
Now, as Rev Dyer comes forward to extinguish the chalice, we can all say together the words for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of our community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
Praise